1-1, never lost. Went to the finals, never lost.
You never got to Lobos.
Who?
You.
I've been a one-on-one champ. Never lost one-on-one.
All right.
Back at it again, it's the guy Spence. Cardo with Spence. You know what's coming at you. Spence Company presents the top 100. It's over. Done with. Finality.
How long has it been?
Bro, since the first video kit recorded March 11th.
Wow.
When we started.
It's a long time.
Right when spring break hit.
Right.
That's when we started on this list and started to try to compose who we thought were the best 100 players from Longview since the year 2000. And man, we had a hell of a time. I know some of y'all had a hard time struggling trying to figure out who the top 10 were going to be.
And I loved it.
Loved it. And just imagine trying to figure out who the best 20,
for that reason alone,
50, or 100.
Think about how many people was, this list trash. You know, the first few weeks, it was, this list already trash.
Right.
I ain't on it.
Right.
Yeah, like you want to be number 98.
Like who wants to be that?
Who wants to be that early? But,
exactly.
You know,
that was my favorite part, fam.
Yeah,
that was my favorite part. It was a lot of people, and I ain't gonna put the name out there, but they had a lot to say about the list. And then all of a sudden, their names pop up,
and it's like, respect, salute,
mad respect, salute, Black Fist,
salute.
Lobo Wolves.
You feel me?
Yeah. So that was my favorite part, probably about that.
Well, we still love y'all guys, you know.
Yeah.
No hard feelings.
No.
But I just didn't understand how the list was trash, and it was just starting. It was just getting started.
Right. But no, I had a great time making the list, man. The top 10, great response on Facebook.
Right.
I think y'all were really ready for it. I'm glad I dropped them one at a time.
Yeah.
Kind of build the suspense up. I know a lot of people were expecting to see. Really, the only reason I didn't do it is that the final podcast lasted an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
With all 10 videos combined.
It was a lot of talking.
And we did a lot of talking, and I wanted that to be the case because I wanted the highlight tapes to be long.
Right.
But then I wasn't finna try to upload an hour and 45-minute podcast. I thought it was way easier.
Yeah.
Just to do the individual video anyway. So that's why they came at you the way that they came at you. But I'm kind of glad. I wanted to build some suspense. And
yeah.
Mike Craig was blowing up my phone, dog.
Mike Craig. Shouts to Craig.
He was trying to guess what Malcolm Kelly was. He didn't want his classmate to be done wrong. And a lot of people was kind of stunned that Malcolm was. Controversy of it is where Malcolm placed at. A lot of people were saying, he should have been top 5, but we already said what we said about it. We just didn't think the resume was better than the guys that was above him.
Right.
And so it ain't got nothing to do with that. I mean, we called you the second best receiver ever.
That's a fact.
And physically, he'd be the first receiver taken if we were to take a draft.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I love Camden, he did an awesome job. His career resume is better than Malcolm Kelly's.
Yeah.
But if I'm picking receivers first, I definitely want Malcolm. So we get what you're saying when you say you want Malcolm to be top 5. But as far as career resume, the boy Camden killed him.
But we had a comment that said that we wasn't speaking facts when it came to what we spoke about with Malcolm.
Yeah.
I don't think that we said anything.
Sometimes I misspeak on this podcast, man. When you
So do you want to clear something up?
No, I said he ran a 4.7 in high school. And Malcolm Kelly probably ran 4.5 in high school.
4.3.
Oh, like I said, Malcolm Kelly
4.3
probably ran 4.5.
That's what I see.
I heard it.
I seen 4.3.
You muted yourself. It's a good reason why you muted yourself right there.
That's what I get.
That's what you get for being messy, man. But nah.
4.3.
So the Malcolm Kelly and Camden debate was fun to watch the response to. Joel Armstrong popping up at 10 surprised some people. You were right about that.
Yeah.
People were surprised to see him, but I think it's fair.
You gotta trust me sometimes, brother.
Well, it's not even about that. I just think it's fair where he was placed at.
Nah,
and
no doubt.
I think people respected it after they saw what came out above him.
Right.
Of course, Jeff and I. Of course, Baby Boy at number 8. Aaron Johnson being at number 5 hurt my feelings to post. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
When I looked at it the night before, I wanted to switch him to number 3 so bad without telling you. And just doing it on my own. And just
you would have got a phone call from me, brother.
Yeah. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to do him that way.
And in hindsight, I probably wouldn't argue with you.
Probably wouldn't have.
I don't think I would have.
I was just like, nah, this is what we said. This is what we're going to stick to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would hurt my feelings to put Aaron Johnson at 5. He was just such a great player.
He was,
DeMarcus Lathan at 4, and then Willie at 3, Haynes at 2, and Vondrell at 1.
Right.
I think we explained ourselves pretty good about Haynes and why we put him at 2.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's too much of a question. I mean,
but then in the streets is I've been hearing different opinions, and I respect all of them.
Yeah.
Because of course what we said is true, but at the same time, it's almost like, okay, regardless of what happened as a senior, if you think as a senior he kind of fell off a little bit, okay. Yeah. But what he did as a junior has never been done before.
Absolutely.
We would hope it happens again, but who knows when it'll happen again.
Right.
He had a once-in-a-lifetime season.
And I wrote on the statement, he had the perfect storm of seasoned coaching, a great wealth of talent around him, and just a kid who grew up in a great wealth of knowledge of the system and a great absent. And I'm saying all this like he ain't cold.
Yeah.
Man,
right.
Like he the best athlete on the team. He's the second fastest dude on Texas A&M's team right now.
Yeah.
Guarantee you.
He can go. That's a fact.
That's a fact. Comes out of his strength coach's mouth. Second fastest guy on the Texas A&M football team right now. So I'm not, by no means, I'm not trying to say Haynes wasn't an excellent player.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a such thing as expectations.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, we explained that, and I ain't got to go through that again.
Right.
You know, and Haynes is gonna go off at A&M whenever he gets his chance, and that's for sure. I think Tyler McRae made the biggest noise in that second group.
He did.
I think
some people couldn't believe he was at 15.
Video.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because of Young G's East Side Dream or Tyler McRae's highlights. It's a great mix, actually.
Yeah.
But no, I think Tyler was just, a lot of people were like, man, what? Outside the top 10. But who do you take out of the top 10?
Nobody.
You know what I mean? You can't take nobody out of the top 10.
But Tyler was special. I mean, you looking at them highlights. Ooh. He was special.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I completely, like I was saying, I understand. But who, like you said, you kind of have to base it off of position. I think the only person in the top 10 who didn't have a set position that you can say, oh, he's the best at, was Willie Andrews.
Yeah.
And that's because he played multiple positions.
Right. And played in a completely different era of football that you have to respect. He was used
completely different, but
exactly. For him,
everybody else
in so many different ways, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody else is going to be pretty much the top at their position,
or near the top.
Right. It's debatable.
Absolutely.
So,
which and this wasn't necessarily a pure talent decision. You know what I mean? This wasn't about who was the best pure talent player to ever play at Longview. That's not what this was about.
Right.
I know a lot of people, the people who can't get over Malcolm Kelly being underneath Camden Perry, like this is not one of those lists where I'm saying I would choose Camden Perry. If we were getting ready to go out and play a game right now, I would choose Camden over Malcolm. That's not what we're trying to say.
Right.
We're saying career resume wise, Camden finished as the greatest receiver of all time.
That's a fact.
The best talent of all time is Malcolm Kelly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the same thing with Pig at 73.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pig is one of the most talented running backs that if you put his tape on and you put on Willie's tape running the ball, you might even think Pig. I know a lot of people that would choose Pig over Willie.
Yeah, I probably would.
You know what I mean? But it's not about necessarily talent. It's about career resume.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why for people who are struggling with this, he was just so much better. Like, it's about the resume, the career resume.
Which is another reason why it's some guys that didn't make the list.
Right. And let's talk about those snubs, man. The only way I can think about it is just go by year,
right,
and say who really did we leave off the list. 2000, the only guy that I can think of is Terrence Young, the huge right tackle that went on to Texas.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I didn't know a thing about him. The team was 3-7, so it wasn't a whole lot.
Wasn't a whole lot of good football played.
And not a whole lot of history on those guys.
That's
just
true.
Easily accessible. So, and then he didn't play at Texas.
Right.
And so, you know, there's nothing to really, because he got injured at Texas and he had to stop playing.
Yeah.
But all I knew he was 6'6", about 340, probably like the real Tim Clayish, but no film or nothing on him. He got the snub.
Yeah.
2001, what do you think?
01, I would probably say Chris Reese.
Yeah.
Again, that was the year that I really didn't pay attention to Lobo football as much.
Right.
So I do remember talking to some guys that played around that era, and they spoke very highly of Chris Reese, which is the older brother to Adrian Reese. But he played opposite side of the ball. He was, I think, a safety, and they said he would come through and he would wreck shit up. He can hit.
Yeah.
That was his calling card, was to come through and knock shit out. So I would say him. I think people regard him very high and probably would have liked to see him on this list, but unfortunately he didn't make it.
Yes, 7-5 in 2001 and 3-7 in 2000. Just not gonna get a whole lot of representatives from that team. Yeah, of course 2002, and now here comes a buttload of names.
Wow,
that didn't get a chance to.
Fred Williams. Bernard.
You can say, man, the entire defensive line. What was his name? Elijah
Tony
One.
Rivera.
You told me about.
Elijah One.
What number was Elijah One? 78.
He was number 78.
Man.
And then we learned
if he's watching this, dog, you were a dude.
He was, yeah.
You were a dude. Kendall Peoples, Bernard, number 52.
We talked to Loranda McCon, and he told us about the number 75. They called him Junkyard. I can't remember his real name, but if you look at the highlight, he was all over.
He's all over. And the stats aren't accessible.
Right.
Like, I didn't really have, like, the stats started in 2004 for me.
Right.
Whenever as far as King, what he had for me to look at for stats wise, it started in 2004. So I really didn't have any stats to go off prior to 2004. Tony Rivera, he's an 03 guy, I think.
No. Tony Rivera is 02.
He's
number 15.
He's a decent safety. He pops up on film a lot on the 2002 film.
That entire offensive line, you can at least mention them. Big Friendly,
who's been mentioned as the best guard. I've heard people.
He was pretty good.
Like just
Caleb Womack. Yeah. He was number 67. He was a good.
They pop up on film.
My big bro Stacy, he wore number 77. Stacy Taylor. He got a scholarship to play for Southern. He was
one of the wide receivers.
Real good.
Number 20. Who was it? Number 24 on the 2001 team, or 21 or something like that. One of Joel's go-to receivers was really good in 2001. I forgot his name. But so a lot of dudes off the 2002 team. Like I said, stats just not readily available for y'all.
I'm just gonna say his name, Tilly Poo. Yeah. His name is Artilius Allison,
the running back.
Right. He was
definitely
good.
Worth a mention.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a mention. He was in the
some guys on the Marcus Maxey. But Marcus Maxey could flow over into 03. He was also the starting cornerback in 03.
Right.
And he was a dog too. He was a playmaker.
I think you flooded. You should have floated by now. I don't know where you stopped floating at.
Just got a mistake.
So I don't. But when did it click off? That's the thing.
I have no clue.
We'll figure it out.
I'm not going back to look either.
So let's just go back. Let's say 2002 had a lot of dudes.
2002,
and hopefully we got to 2002 on the last episode. But 03, Marcus Maxey out of the defensive backfield. Yeah, he was the cornerback. Yeah, was a very good player,
playmaker.
Pops up a lot of times, very clutch on the interceptions.
I know Evangel knows his name.
Evangel,
yeah,
2 pick sixes in those games.
Who else had some guys, man.
Who else on that? I guess Quincy. He's an 04 guy, but you can still
include him on there. Rogers Taylor.
Yeah, Rogers Taylor is one of the bigger snubs off the list. Right. Rogers Taylor is a top 100 talent.
That's a fact.
He is definitely a top 100 talent. He just got robbed because he played in the era that he played in.
Run heavy. Then on top of that,
and then you playing with Malcolm Kelly. And so we're only throwing the ball probably 12 times a game anyway. So you're getting your reverses. You're probably third on the totem pole and trying to get the ball to. I think Rogers Taylor, had he been born 10 years later, is a guy that's on the D1 level as a wide receiver.
Yeah,
so he was like a top 100 talent
speedster.
Just didn't get the opportunity to really show it.
Right.
Who else off that 03? We ready to move on to 04?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't want to miss nobody from that.
From those 03 teams. I think we might have got them on the list, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of those guys ended up making the list. Byron Templeton is a guy we didn't talk about. In
28.
There was we didn't talk about him in 2002.
Yeah.
As a guy that could have made the list. But
huge linebacker that would come through and he could hit.
No doubt. 2004, of course, we started with your brother Quincy,
my big bro.
Definitely a top 100 talent. Just
Facts.
didn't get the chance to put a full season together.
Yeah.
In order to, that 2014 would have been special if he
Oh,
was
hell yeah.
And I hate, and I say that, and I'm not shitting on Carlin by no means. I just think Quincy was just that much better of a talent. Like, I know I say that a lot, and it may seem like I'm just
like you hating on Carlin.
Like I'm totally dissing Carlin Freeman.
Nah,
that's not what's going on.
We got mad love for Carlin.
Mad love for Carlin and what he
do.
did, but Quincy was that kind of a talent to me.
Yeah.
Who else off the 014?
I can't forget Chris Jones.
I was gonna say, did we talk about Chris Jones?
Chris Jones, we didn't say Fred Hawkins either, which he was in 02.
Yeah.
But Chris Jones for sure.
Yeah.
Chris Jones was, I remember back then, he was like one of my favorite players.
Yeah.
Because he was quiet, he just went out there, did his job, went home.
Who else off the 014? The 014.
It's too many, man.
And who didn't make the list?
Who didn't make the list? So if you think about 04, you got to think about the two starting cornerbacks that year.
Both
James
of them.
Pierce, Kadarius Hunter. Somebody actually mentioned Kadarius Hunter to be top 10.
Which was laughable.
Which was
very, very laughable.
They were definitely out of their
but yeah,
sober mind.
Two guys that ended up grabbing TCU scholarships.
Yeah.
Very fast track guys. But
it's crazy how they could be.
But what's crazy, as good as those two were,
right?
2 interceptions for Kadarius Hunter in his career.
Yeah. 1
interception for James Pierce. Or I might have that vice versa. But like, not a whole lot of production from those guys.
Not as far as turnovers.
And that's what I mean. But as far as the cornerback and what you want, like not a lot. Like, there's guys that have 7 interceptions that we left off the list. Yeah. I can't put you on there because you had 2 picks. Right. This ain't gonna happen. So,
but it's funny how they can be. They really can be regarded as one of the top cornerback tandems, and still not make lists.
Athletically, yeah.
For what they did, they didn't give up.
No, they wasn't giving it up. Nothing. But they played so far off that they didn't have to. But we're not gonna get into coaching. Crazy. We're not gonna get into that. 2005, Ben Huddleston is a guy. Is that 04 or is that 05?
He's definitely 05. The
Ben
season
Huddleston
05
is a guy that who's deserves that. His name called
Ben Latroy. I think you can go down that whole front, except for TJ, obviously. But Cody Williams didn't.
Cody Williams was not a bad player.
Not at all.
You know, he wasn't. He didn't compete with the same dog, I think, as everybody else did, and I think that's what a lot of people wanted to, say he wasn't good.
Yeah.
But if you go watch Cody Williams play, like, that big athletic sucker is trying to make some stuff happen.
Yeah, he was fast. Yeah, he was running a 4.5 at like 6'5", 240.
Exactly. He was a genetic freak. I think if he plays another 10 years later, that I think he's developed in an entirely different way.
Yeah.
So, let's see who else on that 05. Tony Johnson, the linebacker.
Yeah.
He put in a great junior year, but got hurt, missed his whole senior year.
Started as a sophomore.
Yeah.
Let's not forget. Started as a sophomore, had a good junior campaign, got hurt senior year. We know.
So he gets a chance to finish his career. How good does he go?
Yeah.
That whole secondary, Derek was mentioned, so Derek's on the list.
Calvin Jackson. I want to mention him because of what he did as a cornerback.
Right.
And I've always said, like, I never expected him to play cornerback. He was, I think, a fullback for the first 2 years he played along with you.
Right.
Tried him at receiver, didn't really work out, and then to see him at cornerback, he held his own. So I have to mention him in the light for that 05 team on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, I don't think so.
It's
only one person.
D-Rob. Wow.
David Robinson. How was you going to slide past that one?
Slide past that one. And we talked. D-Rob was a guy that was initially on our list.
Yes.
As high as, it wasn't very high. I think we had him at like 94 at one point, and then we moved him down to 97, and then we found Jarrell Williams wasn't on the list, and then Jarrell was the last guy.
D-Rob would have been a lose-lose regardless, because I think if we would have put him at 94, it would have been people like, y'all tripping, how he this low.
Yeah. And so at least we didn't have to hear it from that side.
Right.
At least we had the anticipation of it the whole time.
Are you going to explain why he didn't make the list, or you just?
We definitely need to talk about why D-Rob didn't make the list.
I think he's one of the only people that we really have to go into.
The only guy that we got to go into detail about why he didn't make the list. And really, the biggest thing is the production just wasn't there. And for the guy that we know him as, for the folklore, the myth, the legend that D-Rob is, because D-Rob has a string of plays that make him that nobody else has.
That's true.
You know what I mean? The only other guy that could really make some of the kind of catches that he made is
Malcolm Kelly.
You know what I mean? So D-Rob has those string of plays that are just like, oh my God, that was impressive. But you look at the total picture. If Rogers Taylor isn't on this list, then I don't think D-Rob can be on this list because Rogers Taylor to me was more productive in his 2 years, and he didn't make the list.
Yeah,
because he didn't have enough receiving yards. You know, D-Rob has in the 500 yards. Like he didn't have over 600 yards.
Yeah.
So he had about 500 something yards, 5 touchdowns, like 40 something catches. Not a whole lot of catches because Carlin didn't really throw for that many yards that year.
That's true.
So it's not like the passing attack was there. And I understand, you know, a lot of the games they were out early on.
Yeah.
But when all you have, like I said, this isn't the top 100 talent list. This is the top 100 like.
Because if it was, it'd be a lot of guys on there.
You know what I mean? Like, who had the best careers?
Right.
That's basically what we were talking about. And so, you know, for me, 500 yards and 5 touchdowns just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
To really solidify a guy on the list. And then where we would have put him at, we would have got slaughtered that first week.
Shit. I can only imagine.
We would have got absolutely slaughtered that week. I mean, you mentioned him on the super team, which is why I'm glad we dropped it when we did.
Right.
Because he is definitely one of those top talents. He's definitely a guy that you would want if you were just lining everybody up.
Yeah.
NFL Street Blitz style. Who you picking? D-Rob. You know what I'm saying? He would definitely be one of those characters you would want. But as far as like career resume goes, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah. And if you was to line up every receiver in the past 20 years that played for Longview, and was like, pick who you want. Go. You got your 3 picks right now.
Right now, based off of physicality alone.
What you see. Right.
Give me Malcolm.
Yeah.
Give me D-Rob. Give me Dorian. Just because I want three.
I'm going with Tavares Brown.
I want three of them guys.
Right.
I want 3 6'5" guys.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I ain't mad at it.
Like defend that.
Yeah. But I think D-Rob, we had to explain that because it was hard to not have him on the list.
Right. And the guy that was up on the list up to the last very point, but I didn't feel right about having 500 yards and 5 touchdowns on there.
Right, because then you would have to put Justin Spady on there, right?
Wow. Why would you do that?
I'm serious.
Spady had better numbers than that.
That's what I'm saying.
But not only just Spady, Caden Kirby.
That's no snub. Thank you. That's no snub.
Like it's so many other receivers that really ate after 2005.
Yeah.
To have D-Rob on the list and say 500 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Because then that's what I'm saying. You're gonna have guys coming at you like,
now you got.
Bro, I had better numbers than that.
Exactly.
So
that's why D-Rob didn't make the list. 06.
Me.
Yeah, Ricardo Buchanan.
Phillip Rudd.
Actually, Ricardo was picked 1-on-1, y'all.
That's a fact.
We just didn't release that picture. We had to get that out for the
We got to get that out for the people.
But so
I'm number 101.
Gavin Esters is definitely the first guy you should have said in 06.
You know, I look back at 06, right, and I think about this. Gavin Esters, at the end of the season, he led our team in tackles.
Right.
He missed the game.
Wow.
Led our team in tackles. Was second team out district.
Wow.
I don't know who goes into the.
Maybe he was just an effort guy. I don't know. But led the team in tackles and was left off the list.
Yeah.
Another guy, DeMarcus Miles. DeMarcus Miles.
My brother.
Was a very fluid leader.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to describe DeMarcus's play is fluid. You know, he was very fast, but he moved like water, man. Even in the pocket, even his throwing motion was real pretty, very fluid, like real creative quarterback, like what you would want.
He was. D-Mark was different. He was special. I mean, I got to talk about D-Mark because my brother.
Yeah.
But D-Mark, when you speak about him being a fluid leader, D-Mark would tell you, like Mesquite, this is the game for the district championship. And defense, we go out there and we really let the team down because we let them march down the field and score. Yeah. And we on the sideline hanging our heads. D-Mark comes up, shake everybody's hand. I got y'all. Don't worry about it. I'll figure out here and win this for y'all. We just like, oh, man, whatever. Yeah. Look up and he sprints 59 yards for a touchdown in the fourth quarter.
Right.
So that speaks to his his leadership. It's my brother too.
Right. So who else off the 06 squad?
Stop.
Why not, man?
Don't act like it's getting bleak for you.
It is. It's
like wow. Oh wow. Who else?
Yeah. Well, who else can we name that was a senior that year? That was.
It really ain't damn near nobody else.
Really,
John Todd. John Todd was our center, man. And
I'm glad your mic muted right when you said that. Like every time you say some bullshit,
it's not bullshit. John Ty was good, bro.
I ain't saying he wasn't good, but we talking about getting on the list, bro.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Not just because 1 year.
Not just because they my partner, huh?
Exactly.
This is 06. This is the year I played.
Man, the year 07.
Okay.
So I think we just hit 12 minutes with 07. Who was a real snub. That entire defense has a real case. To start with the cornerback, Dontre Nelson has the biggest case on that defense to be on the list. Drew Harden, impressive year over, he had 112 tackles.
Jasmine Moon.
Pops up all over the tape. Jasmine Moon, 2-position guy. The thing about Jasmine was really went upper echelon at either position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was good running back and a good linebacker, but it wasn't OP at either one.
Yeah.
And but as career wise, definitely a guy that had an argument to be on the list. I think
Fred Canada, man.
Fred Canada on
the
line.
I'm gonna let you get that out.
Let's stay on the defense. Markeith Woolridge, he's a guy that actually made some comments today about it, and which is why I'm glad we put best defenses out before the entire list came out, because I knew a lot of those 07 guys weren't going to be on the list, but they were very critical and very crucial to their defense being as good as they were. Markeith Woolridge, Cordarian Solomon, the guy with a whole bunch of sacks and didn't have no business making them sacks.
Yeah.
I think when you look inside, Big Neek, Ra Anderson, they were very good players.
Yeah.
Cody Morrow was
definitely good.
A guy that put his hand on the ball, got some interceptions, should have been possibly mentioned in the top 100.
Yeah.
Then you look at the offensive line, which is one of the best ones, I think, that came through.
Blake Bledsoe
was a 2-year starter. He was probably worth a mention.
Yeah.
Fred Gaffney was a 1-year guy, probably not worth a mention, but neither would Fred just being a 1-year guy. But those were very talented dudes, very good members of that O-line. And then I think that's about it.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else.
I don't think anybody else was really probably had a career that was worth being on the list about. Yeah, but because we get
the whole
backfield's in the list. So
right.
I have much respect to 2007, 2008.
Everybody's already on there.
Anybody
from 08
that's worth the shot at it. Melvin Templeton started. But I don't think that 1 year is not enough to be on the list. Who else? I think that's about it.
Everybody.
Joe Patillo was a guy that maybe could have got a shout for starting that year, but I don't think he had a career that was worth being mentioned on the list.
Yeah.
Cody Taylor was a great run block tight end. Very physical. Hands were shaky, but he did make some big time catches. Cody's got some.
He definitely did.
Cody's got some impressive catches, and he's got some bad drops, and which is why when you said Cody Taylor that one time, and I
just remember Cody for making big plays. I remember in Dallas Carter.
I hated it came off as a joke because I know a lot of people got a good kick out of that. But Cody Taylor was a very impressive run blocking tight end, very physical to the tag. Just hands were shaky. Yeah, and that's we'll leave it at that. Jonathan Oliver didn't make the list, and J.O. was a very good playmaker out of the fullback spot. Just 1 year to do it. You know what I mean? 1 year to start, and then you go from tailback to running back, so you would have to be phenomenal, to really just make that list like that.
Right.
So that's 08. Jazz Reeves was a D tackle as a junior, offensive tackle as a senior. Vinny Porley was very impressive up front. One of those guys, in a situation, Vinny Porley is a guy that you're going to pick over maybe a guy that made the list because you're going to want that big, nasty dude up front. But as far as career resume goes, I don't think Vinny Porley had enough to necessarily be on the list.
Right.
Going to 09, Keelan Shaw was on his way.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's kind of the same team.
Yeah, it really is.
But Keelan Shaw, before he got hurt.
was on his way before he broke his kneecap against Hallsville.
Yeah.
Rayshawn McGee is a guy that, we mentioned it when we talked about Aaron Johnson.
Right.
If he plays, he could start over a lot of quarterbacks that got a chance to start here.
Damn right.
Probably would have been a guy that been on our list had he got the chance.
I think a lot of people would argue that he was a better quarterback.
I wouldn't
than Aaron.
I wouldn't say
that. Okay, maybe I would say they would argue he's a better
he was a better passer of the ball.
Yeah.
He was a better passer of the ball. His ball, but it was quirky. It was a little. It was a little weird.
I never heard that.
And Aaron was better under pressure because Aaron was going to slip some shit and get out and make
that's
the
a
first
fact.
down. Not that Rayshawn was immobile or something, but I think sometimes the way we block, you probably needed a more better quarterback, a more elusive quarterback.
Yeah.
Think about 2010 team.
That's your side.
So let's talk 2009.
So in all honesty, these next maybe like 8 years, you're gonna have to take the rings.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So 2009, we talking ping pong. 7 picks that year. Just 1 year to do it, but that 7 interception year was impressive.
I do remember Anthony
Branson Rogers was a good guy. 2010, we talking Ant Wiley. 2-year starter at linebacker. Darren Brown. I don't think maybe was worth a mention on the list, but was a good player. A good player for sure on that 09 team. 2010, Quail Darden had 7 picks his senior year. The brother of Alante Darden. Yeah, he had 7 interceptions. Dakota Anthony was a hard-nosed runner at fullback. Probably could have got a fullback look because he played in 09 and 2010. Who else? Probably nobody else. Britton Eastburn, had he not got hurt in 09, and Shaggy never got hurt, Shaggy would have been a top 20 linebacker. Yeah. You know what I mean? Shaggy started as a sophomore towards ACL in his junior year early, and then was just kind of a shell of himself as a senior, but still very strong and physical his senior year. So Shaggy is a guy that if he never gets hurt, is a guy. You know what I mean? 2011, DT Jackson, the wide receiver. Yeah, DT Jackson off the list, and it kind of bothers me because he was a very good wide receiver. Yeah. But just as far as all the other guys, who would you rather have? You know what I mean? Yeah. And it just came down. DT got the short end of the stick on that one. So DT Jackson is the biggest name I can think of off of that team that didn't get on the list. 2012, of course, Colin Jeter is the biggest name. Word. And Colin is a guy that was a top 100 talent. Just didn't have.
I thought he made the list.
Nah, man. He didn't even make the list. Like Colin Jeter.
Did we have him on the list at first?
No. Damn. He was always like on the outside looking in.
That's crazy.
Because and the biggest thing that hurt Colin was Bivens Caraway getting hurt. Right. He had a really good junior year by Longview standards. Really good Longview tight end junior year. Yeah. He was supposed to explode his senior year, and I think he would have. Just like I said, top 100 talent, maybe not, but not a career resume. Right. 2013, that's we started.
Who was 13? Like Spady and them? Is that Spady and them?
Spady and them is 2012. He's with Bivens.
Okay.
Spady just came off the list. Spady is a guy that had like 800 yards. I think as a senior, he probably scored anywhere from like 7 to 10 touchdowns in his career. Yeah. So he was a productive receiver, but I mean, I didn't mention Bubba Poole either. Bubba Poole was good. Yeah. I didn't think they were mentioned to being in the top 100. Right. I don't really nobody off.
Oh, if that's the case, we could just
really jumps off the list for me in 2013, 2014. Jordan Whitaker.
Yeah.
Jordan Whitaker, good. Maybe he's 2013. He had one of the best years from
tight end
receiving standpoint as a tight end. Just 1 year to do it. And when it came down to it was him, Adrian Reese for that last tight end spot.
Yeah, you got to get a nod to Reese.
Yeah. So same thing with Jordan White in 2015. Same thing with Tool in 2014. I don't know. The years get muddled. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of.
I feel like everybody else that if you made the list from 2014 on, you made the list, and then if you didn't, you probably.
Well, I can speak for maybe like 2017.
Or J.C. Blakemore. He's one that jumps off. He was in the late discussions about getting a spot. I think really probably
they had some guys on that team.
That's a
Kevion Bush
was a guy.
Good linebacker.
Yeah, very good.
He was a good linebacker that year.
The snubs are plenty, as you can see. There were a lot of guys that were thrown in the names for trying to be considered. So if you felt like you didn't get your fair share, we did probably think about you.
Yeah, we did.
But I think it turned out the way that it turned out, and I think it turned out to be pretty good, man.
Yeah.
So what's next? What's next? You tell me, man. You want to go top positions or you want to go top teams?
Top teams.
Go top teams.
I feel like just off the strength that I think the top positions should be self-explanatory. If you look at the list.
Well, if you look at the list, that's what
who you going?
I was thinking about the other day. How hard will it be to finish a top 10 quarterbacks? You got 7 on the list right now.
Right. Okay, so you got to add 3 more.
So if you go 7, you go Haynes, Aaron, Joel, Peter, Dez, Bivens, Damian. That's 7 guys right there.
Right.
You still got
Carlin Freeman,
Quincy, D-Mark, Michael Ross. You still got like
Galen Wiley.
You still got plenty of names that can fill those last 3 spots.
Yeah.
So that would be a hell of a conversation. Maybe not right now. You know, I don't know. I don't want to burn nobody out on player talk.
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe the teams is a good switch.
Now teams is fun because
teams is fun, and I think that shit is gonna get. It's gonna get a little testy and very interesting.
That's a fact.
We know who the top team is, but from 2 down, it's wide open.
Right.
And the thing is, how do we do the?
But how do you do the top team? Because even the top team that would be just, you already know, clear cut. You would say 2018.
Yeah.
You can't tell the class of 06, which is the 2005 season, that they would line up and they could beat them. No.
They could.
Okay. Tell them that. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, how did Rockwell score 35 on them? You know what I mean?
It's football.
I understand it's football.
But I'm saying, tell the class.
I got arguments for that.
Tell the class of 06.
I can clear cut say it's 2018 team be the number one. I think you can too, but I think you're just trying to play a little devil's advocate, and I'm okay with that.
No, I'm dead serious.
So here's the thing: when we do that list, is it a thought of who had the better year, who has the better resume, or who can line up and beat whose ass?
That's can line up.
So we want
and
who can line up.
Ass.
That's how we're gonna do top 20 teams the last 20 years. Who could line up and beat whose ass?
Who's beating Trent on that defensive line, that 2018 defensive line? Who's beating Book?
It ain't just about. Don't do that to me on camera, bro.
Thank you.
Don't do that to me on camera. Because I don't want. Some of these people are my friends, and I don't want to talk about them.
Some of these people are my colleagues.
You know what I'm saying? Some of these people are my friends, and I don't want to talk about them like that.
You're a funny guy, man.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do them like that.
Well, you tell me when you want to do this.
It's the next discussion.
Okay, facts.
It's the next list. The next list is on its way. The top 20 teams from. Well, we're just gonna rank the best teams in Lobos since the last 20 years.
Okay.
That's on the way. But yeah, I think that's enough for this one.
Yeah.
This was called the Snubs. We left some of you guys out, and
it's all love. I was left out, and I played 2 years.
Yeah.
And I was all district.
He played 1 year. He watched Trent for 1 year.
That's a fact.
But yeah,
I was on the team though.
But no, I just kind of wanted y'all to see just a little bit of how hard it really was to make this list and how many names really got tossed around in order to try to make the 100 that we did come up with. And so, yeah, it's just a little inside look.
Yeah.
Next thing you see or hear from us, yeah, I like that. Best teams.
Let's do it.
Let's do that.
Pause.
Yeah, that was a little pause worthy. And where's the Stephen A?
I'm out. Yep. You got good ears, brother.